you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder, and f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought.
I can tell you that 7 years after Freddie Gray, that was 2015, spring, April, May, this is 2022. Communities like Sandtown, all we saw then and now in terms of investment was a renovated Western District Police Station and a new funeral home. That's what West Baltimore got. A new police station and a new funeral home. What kind of optics are they? Was Freddie Gray any different than 1968 Baltimore riots? Dr. King's passing, killing, murder? This is the same?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I think, well, first of all, people who are being violent and burning, that's, you know, all that's the same. But the point is what was the cause and what were they attempting to register?
I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
I love you.
They deserve it now. It's
Got next. And on before.
It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown.
We'd like to welcome you to BlackUSA.News. This is the 4 o'clock edition. We've been joined by the one and only Marcia Jews. We also have our senior journalist in residence, Mr. Michael Haney. Michael Haney, where are you? It sounds like you're in a manufacturing plant. Are you in a manufacturing plant?
No, Donnie. Well, I'm glad I got a promotion, a left-handed promotion. I think that's what they call it. Hey, Miss Jews, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, giggling. You all are
What's
funny.
all that noise, man? It sounds like you're in a diesel factory.
I'm sorry, I was just, maybe I was crunching on my shrimp salad sandwich because I just got off a flight to Florida.
No, I hear rumbling. You hear it, Marcia?
Yes, it's like air is blowing. Do you have a fan on?
Yeah, I do have a fan on. Let me try to.
Yeah, okay. So, Marcia Jews, we got to go out to Baltimore County. We have with us on the line Derek Burnett. Derek, are you with us?
Yes, I am. It's a pleasure to be here. How's everybody doing today?
We're good. Derek, we lost a giant. You funeralized a giant in Baltimore County today.
No, unfortunately, I couldn't make it. Brother Diggs, he's been there for a long time, contributed a lot to our community.
Brother Lewis Diggs, he was a historian out there in Baltimore County.
Yes, sir. At least 25, 30 years. I think he actually edited and wrote around 15 books on the history, African American history of Baltimore County.
Wow. Well, condolences to his family and to you as well. The giants are leaving us.
What else is happening out there in Baltimore County, Derek?
Oh, wow. What can I say, man? Oh, you know what? This security mall charrette they just got through having.
What?
We can barely hear you. Can you speak up a bit?
Sure. Can you hear me now?
Okay, speak up.
The Baltimore County charrette they had for the security mall area.
Okay, you want to tell us about it?
Well, actually, Baltimore County, I'm going to say Baltimore County government hired architects, engineers, landscape architects, and master planners to put together a conceptual master plan for the Security Mall piece of property.
Okay, how's it looking?
I'm not impressed, because that's my business. I'm in the design, construction, real estate business, and I'm not impressed because to me it's just an exercise to try to piecemeal and appease the people.
What does this mean what does this mean for the people of Baltimore County?
It's like, to me, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
And what do you suggest needs to be done?
The first thing needs to be done, they need to re-implement the red line. That will solve everything. The red line was projected to have over 50,000 riders ride past Security Mall every day. If the red line had been constructed, would have been completed as of February of this year. But Hogan denied those funds and transferred those funds from the red line to the purple line to his constituents community.
Okay, but let's also say that Martin O'Malley had an opportunity to make that red line shovel ready before he left office, correct?
Yeah, but that red line was shovel ready. When Hogan got in the office.
I understand this. When you kick the can down the road, you ain't get nothing done. Okay, you got to do it while you're there, and you can't wait on nobody else to do it.
Right.
But Derek, we're going to slide over to some other guests. We can't wait for you to join in on camera, okay?
No problem.
Good deal. We're going to catch up now with Mr. Danny Blount. He's out in Baltimore County too. He can, Mr. Blount, welcome to the 4 o'clock news here on BlackUSA.News.
Hey, thank you for having me. Hey, good evening, guys. Thank you for having me.
Good. We know you're in the middle of meetings. Lewis Diggs, you lost a giant. You funeralized the giant today. Care to touch that?
Well, Lewis Diggs, as you just said, is exactly what you said. He is a giant. He will be missed. A great Black historian out here in Northwest Baltimore County. He did so much. I was not able to make the funeral today, but it was absolutely well attended. It was an overflow. He absolutely was represented very, very, very well in Baltimore County this afternoon.
Okay, what else is happening in Baltimore County? Derek Burnett was just commenting on Security Square Mall.
Yeah, Security Square Mall is getting some love. They're over there now building a new Chick-fil-A. Baltimore County just purchased the property of Sears. So it's been a combination of Baltimore County and the state, Adrian Jones and the state coming together and committing to revamping Security Square Mall. So we're really happy about the movement that's happening over there. Another thing that's happening in Baltimore County, Northwest Baltimore County, is that
you gotta love that. He can't hide New York no matter what he do, because he always reverts back to it. You know that, though. You know that style.
Hey, what can I say? I am what I am. What I am.
That's Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, do or die, best die.
Right.
That's my man, Spike. So actually, we just got a new market. Just got a commitment on a market to come on Milford Mill Road and Liberty Road. There was kind of like a food desert out there since 2018. We lost 4 markets. So we just got a commitment a couple weeks ago.
Let's just reiterate that, Marsha. What 4 markets did you lose on Liberty Road, and where about?
Well, the first one that went was the Giants on Milford Mill. And Miss Hughes, you're looking great. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm feeling great too. Still standing, brother. Aren't we all?
Indeed. You're looking great. Yes, the market on Milford Mill and Liberty Road closed first. Then if you move your way up, actually, let me correct myself, because the first one that did close was the one that was on Offutt in Liberty Road first, where it's now a CCBC school there. The second one that closed was, I believe it was a Food Lion, and then the Giants on Milford Mill Road closed, and then the Shoppers closed.
Oh, wow.
All within from 2018 to 2020, all of them went down.
But you still do have markets.
Well, the only market that we have on Liberty Road would be the Food Lion, and that's on Old Court and Liberty Road. That's the only market on Liberty Road.
Well,
That's an
time
awful
out.
lot of people.
But that's
I
not
mean,
that's not entirely true. I thought you had a Walmart.
well, okay, well, Walmart, yes. When you say markets, I'm thinking about like just brand markets, but I missed that. Yes,
We all did.
we did. We do have a Walmart, and I'm thankful for that. Absolutely thankful for that Walmart. Could use better service out there a little bit, but yes, Walmart is there. But you know, the thing about it is that our per capita out here, we can just support any major market or whatever it is. I don't care what it is. You can call it out. We can support it, and they can make money.
You have a
But
lot of
it's
people in that
a
community.
whole lot of people,
Right.
hardworking people who deserve better, who deserve better. And you know, we can do better. But you know, it is it's political in a sense where they seem to say that they don't want to come out in this area per se. You know, the markets are like giants and things like that. They're getting away from, you know, I don't know, areas like ours because the only other market that we have a giant
Are you saying
like ours. Did I say like ours? Okay.
I'm sorry. Are you saying away from African Americans?
Right. You mean like in
Call it what
East
it is.
Baltimore, West Baltimore?
Call it like what it is. See, it doesn't matter. See, my thing is this: is that you got to call it what it is.
Yes, it's
You know,
racism.
it's racism and it's redlining. It's
Yes.
all of the above.
Yes.
And you know, we need to wake up. I mean, we've been talking about this. We've been singing and dancing to it forever. But the reality is, there's very little change that has occurred.
You know what? As I think about it, they need a better name than Red Line, considering the historical connotation.
Should be the White Line.
Name it anything, but the Red Line. Wow, damn. And see, that's so. Baltimore is such a segregated, apartheid-ridden town.
Macy-Dixie line, man. Come on now, let's not get away from where we are. We are the Macy-Dixie line. This is who we are. I mean, think about it. We just got one first African-American governor.
We beat y'all. We beat New York.
Well, New York is a bigger barrel. I mean, it's huge. New York is huge. So that means when there's more people, it's more what?
But Maryland and New York.
That's right.
Similar. Maryland and New York are similar. New York and Baltimore have a long.
Yeah, well, they used to call Baltimore wanted to be in little New York. Everybody wanted to be New York. Or New York and come down. I mean, y'all got Odell. Where Odell's come from?
Danny, I was going to let you slide, but I just want to put a shout out to all of the New Yorkers who came to Baltimore and found it as their resting place. Ashe.
Amen. Amen.
A lot of New York cats came down here treating us like Joe Biden. Come to find out, Joe Biden got a lot on lock.
Okay, all right.
Be careful, partner. We know where you live at.
That's okay. I know where you live at too. Matter of fact,
address is in the book.
It is in the book. I'm a public figure. That's right. So are you, Donnie. So of all of us, anyone who's an activist, you know, we out there. So anyway, getting back to the question at hand, yeah, just got this one market. It's been the commitment, the signature has been signed. So that's one. We need 3 more to go.
Come on, Danny, you boring. Get to the meat. Julian Jones versus Izzy Patoka. What's the deal?
Okay, so what you doing? What you mean, Izzy Patoka? You mean after the dust is settled? After the
aren't y'all already county exec race? Come on, man. Let's get. They already talking about the mayor's race in Baltimore officially.
Oh my God! Let me tell you something.
Officially.
Well, let me ask you one. Names. Let me ask this one question. What do you think about those city council folks changing the pension requirements? What do you think about that?
What do you think about it?
Well, you know, I listened to an interview that the wonderful, outstanding gentleman by the name of Laurie Gibson had on WEAA, as well as Doc Cheatham. They both had their different viewpoints on it, and it kind of make you think.
Marcia, did you notice how he said the incomparable Larry Gibson, professor of law? He read his whole resume, and then he said, and Doc Cheatham.
No,
Okay,
well,
so I
Doc
guess
Cheatham. Doc Cheatham is a legend. I mean, you didn't know that? Oh, but
He
Larry
just
is
wanted
older.
he just wanted you to expound upon his bio and resume a little bit more.
Yes, Doc Cheatham's. I mean, the incomparable Doc Cheatham.
he do like to fight too.
He does like to fight, but he
Well, he's
can't fight.
fighting
He
for that
can't fight.
skateboard. He wants a skateboard park over there. He
We
should
don't want
have
no,
it.
we don't want no damn skateboard park.
How about
I like the
motorcycles? How
idea.
about dirt bikes? You gonna do something for the kids with the dirt bikes,
You
or
gotta
you
do
want to keep
something.
letting them ride up and down the road?
Hey,
We need
look,
to have.
dirt,
We need
I
to
couldn't
give them
ride
something
one.
so
I
they're
couldn't ride one
contained.
because they were illegal. I asked my mother, could I get it? Matter of fact, I never even asked her that because that was a no-brainer. I
Yeah,
did
that
ask for the gold though. Did you
But they
ask for
have
the
one
gold?
over. They have a park in Hamden. So why shouldn't they have a park in West Baltimore? That's huge. That's important.
Let me tell you why. Because nobody asked the people in West Baltimore what they wanted.
Well, they did ask people,
No, they
apparently.
didn't.
That's what I
You're
understand
damn
from
right.
Doc Cheatham.
Hey, I grew up in that neighborhood. Ain't nobody get asked nothing.
Well, that's what I understood, that there are several people that
I grew up in the 1500 block of
growing
Moreland
together.
Avenue, directly opposite Easterwood Park, and ain't nobody get asked nothing.
You still live there?
Yeah, I do.
He don't act like he won't fight somebody or something.
He sell wolf tickets.
I know. He don't know. I
Yeah,
got a whole
well,
bunch of set-up stuff.
He got a little fight in him.
You got to watch them undercover East Baltimore
questionable.
people who originally from Gary, Indiana. Somewhere.
No,
She's from Michael
ain't
Jackson.
nobody from Gary, Indiana on this
Ain't that where
call.
Michael Jackson from?
That's
Yes,
where
he is.
That's not where I'm from.
Going back to Indiana.
And don't quit your full-time job. Go ahead. You look nice with your little tie. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't he look? He make us all look. Look at him. Look at him. Well, you come a long way.
Marsha, do you know he has a radio show? Him,
yes.
He and Bishop Barry Chapman talk smack. They talk incredible smack.
When are you all on?
He don't even listen. He doesn't even listen to our show, I don't think.
Well, you got to tell me when it's on.
Well, I wasn't talking about you, Miss G's, but here we go. Let's get that plug in there. Let's get that plug right.
What's that?
There
Is that,
you go.
is that what is that? Oh, that's nice.
That's our radio show. It's a two-way talk show. It's WFBR 1590 AM station. We do it every Thursday from 12 to 1. And I love for you to come on and call in and let us hear your wonderful voice and then spread some of that wonderful knowledge you have.
All right, well, send it to me. Send me the information.
See that? That's cold-blooded. Look what I'm doing, Kenny. Look what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm going, Danny.
It looks good.
Y'all something else.
Danny.
That I tell you, I'm coming after you, Donnie.
I'm a journalist, Kenny.
I'm coming after you, Donnie. I'm coming after you.
Yeah, that's it.
Y'all funny.
All right, guys, what have I missed?
We're talking smack. That's all.
Talking smack. Yeah, he wants to know what's going on in Northwest Baltimore County, Kenny.
There's a little bit going on, but I tell you what, I talked to Donnie today, and I talked about Louis Diggs, and it's a great loss in Baltimore County.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
You know how we go through life and we wonder how we end up where we are and end up doing what we do.
Mm-hmm.
This guy just got a fascinating story, and when I look back at his contribution and his legacy, what he's done for us in Baltimore County, doing the work and doing the research and bringing us the information about all the Black communities. And I'm not talking about communities that propped up 20, 30, 40 years ago. We're talking about 75, 100, 150 years ago, the Black folks that were in Baltimore County.
Mm-hmm.
And he took the time, he did the work. And I said to myself, who wakes up in the morning and says, I want to do that?
Yes.
But it was interesting how he got to that point. Mm-hmm. Commitment. Well, hey, Donnie, by the way, too, this guy, I talked to you earlier. I didn't know this guy had a connection to Sandtown.
Louis Diggs?
Louis Diggs. He grew up in Sandtown. And when he moved
to Sandtown?
right? Grew up in Sandtown, and when he moved to Baltimore County, he moved to that area called Winter's Lane, and that was his first book. It all started on Winter's Lane. But his story was he went to Douglas in 1950. He didn't finish. He didn't graduate because he left there and he went out and joined the National Guard. And I learned a new term. I didn't know that, Danny. I didn't know that when the governor calls up the National Guard, that's the governor calling it up. But when the president calls up the National Guard, what do they call them? They federalize them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They federalize and ship them to Korea. And they were some of the first black troops to go to Korea to fight in the Korea War. And they went to Korea, did his battle over there, did his time, came back. When he came back, he went on and he continued to stay in the Guard, and he ended up staying 20 years there. When he came back, he decided to go back in the 70s and got his high school diploma. From there, he went on to stay high school. He went on to there, his master's University of Baltimore in school as a and he did an assignment. They would go back there and come back and talk about a notable black person from their community. They had so many kids that couldn't come back with anything. And they caught them all. And he said he couldn't. And when he went to look, he said he couldn't find information.
So Kenny, we're gonna have to.
And that's what got him started.
We got a bad connection here, Kenny.
Go ahead.
Okay.
All right. Well, I can jump off and come back in later and just listen to you guys. Okay.
Well, you sound a little better right there.
Well, you know why it might sound a little better? Because I just noticed I had my finger down at the bottom, probably close to the mic.
Oh, well, that would do it. Could you repeat
might have something to do with it.
Yeah, it might have something.
You think so?
Could you repeat what you said?
The last half hour of what you said.
The last half hour. Okay, the guy in 1950, the guy was at Frederick Douglass High School, but he had to leave school. And when he left school, he took and he went and joined Maryland National Guard. And the Maryland National Guard, when they called up a unit to go to Korea, his unit was the first black unit to go into Korea.
Oh, wow.
Tell about the love story. Come on with the love story.
Oh, I love the love story.
Tell the love story. Hold the camera down. You cutting off your head. There you go. There you go.
I love the love story.
Y'all gotta hear this.
We did a story on this guy 4 or 5 years ago. Louis Dick told me the story. And Louis was up in the years. He probably was in his 80s then, Danny. But Louis had himself a girlfriend.
Yes, he did.
And when I met the lady, he told me the story. And I mean, you see this older couple sitting on a bench and they're holding hands and they're eating ice cream and they just look like they're so happy. But what I found out was the original story is that Louis did when he was a young guy back in Baltimore in high school, and we know this stuff went on back there, back in the 50s. He had a young lady that he was madly in love with. But he was in Sandtown, and I guess that wasn't the right side of the track back then. Mm-hmm. And her parents weren't impressed with him. So they blocked it, that she couldn't see him, couldn't talk to him, they couldn't date, and so on. So eventually, like I said, he dropped out of school, went into the military, went to Korea, and when he came back, he went back looking for her, but she had already found somebody else, and got married or was getting married. So he said this was all over. So he went out and he found himself another young lady, and he married his wife, and as a couple, they were together 61 years.
I love it.
And then she passed on. So now he's a widow. And then one day he runs into his childhood sweetheart and he finds out now that she's a widow. And the two of them, they connect again, right? And they start dating. And then eventually they end up getting married.
Look to your neighbor and say, it ain't over till it's over.
And all I could say was they must have been meant to be,
Yes.
to be able to come together 61 years later
so
and
sweet.
connect
That's
like that.
beautiful.
Wow.
So brand new.
Got married, and they were married for 5 years, and then she passed on.
My
But
first love.
but that's a great love story. That when you know those childhood sweethearts. How many of y'all think back on the ones that you think got away, that you thought you were meant to be with? Everybody got quiet.
I do.
Well, Donnie, there's still hope. Who knows? You may meet
That's
her.
right.
You may see her another 10 years from now, and you guys will connect and then end up in holy matrimony.
I'm waiting, boo.
You waiting?
Awesome.
Yeah. But it's a great loss in Baltimore County.
It
Yes.
is.
This guy wrote 13 books, Donnie.
All right. So look, I want to get to something a little brighter.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Michael Haney, don't you want to say something about the first Black governor?
Absolutely. I think that first Black governor in Maryland, the third elected governor in the United States, a huge opportunity for Baltimore, especially because you have someone that says that as Baltimore goes, so goes the state of Maryland. And Baltimore, we know, has had a multitude of issues. I know other jurisdictions. Prince George's County and Baltimore have always had synergies. I don't think they have anything to worry about. I don't think Montgomery County has anything to worry about. But as part of the state of Maryland, Baltimore, we all would be proud if we can get our school systems in Prince George's and Baltimore and Dorchester County up to a point where, as the majority of Black people in each of those three jurisdictions, that we have something that we can be proud of. And I think that this is a governor that is going to focus on education, can get it done, realizes money is not the only issue, but we've got some family issues related to education as well. And I think that he's going to be able to address them as long as we're willing to work. We can't sit back and expect that there's going to be a magic wand he has to make everything cured. That if we're not willing to participate in the process, and if we're not willing to support and work with him, then it'll be business as usual.
Well, I'm glad he's there. We just need to make certain that we stay committed to making certain that he does what needs to be done for the communities that look like us. And this last one was needed a lot more work. And I don't think that there were enough voices for him to hear to affect the change that we need. So I'm looking forward to Wes being the governor, and that he surrounds himself with all the right people and a good team so that he can do what needs to be done.
Kenny, you supported him out there in Baltimore County. You were towing the line for Westmore, weren't you?
Yep, we were towing the line big time for him. Day one. When people were saying he only had a 1%, 2% chance of making it.
2%. That was the number.
Okay.
And what was the percentage of the election at the end of the election?
Hey, Kenny, what did I tell Westmore about Baltimore County? What did I tell him?
You told him he needed to come through there, and he needed that west side of Baltimore County.
I told him. I told him you better call Kenny Brown.
Oh, no. Well, I tell you what, Wes and I, we worked very well together. We were good.
What do you like about him?
Oh, I like everything about the guy. If you're ever in a room with this guy and you hear him speak to you, right? The guy's just so authentic. I mean, the idea is it's nothing on paper. When he's speaking to you, he's strictly speaking to you from his mind and his heart. You can sense that. You can tell when people are real. So what I'm hoping is as a people, we give him a chance. Because you know sometimes how we get. We go in, we're all happy that he's there, and then 60, 90 days, 160 days later, you ain't moving fast enough. You didn't do this for me, and then the next thing you know, you're out there saying bad things. All right.
So let's talk about that, Danny. Do we have expectations of Westmore, the first Black governor?
Of course we do. Sure. I mean, high expectations. You know, he's an authentic man. He's a military man, such as myself. When he put the slogan out there, "Leave no one behind," I mean, it resonated with me from the jump.
Why?
And I knew what that means because I know what that means. Military wise, you never leave a soldier behind. Dead, wounded, whatever, you take them home. And that right there can resonate with the people in Baltimore. That's someone who's not going to allow them to falter. If he can do anything about it, he's going to do it. And like you said, he's got the right people. He's going to continue to build his cabinet so that he have the right folks around him. And he's authentic. I mean, this man didn't have to run for office. This man's a Rhodes Scholar. Could have done anything he wanted to. But the fact that he's made a commitment to come in and to take on this uphill battle, 1% is nothing. I mean, uphill battle. Francho was already knighted to be the governor. I mean, my God, they didn't give Westmore wasn't even a thought. So the fact that he didn't care about that, he just looked and seen what was going on in the landscape. He saw the opening there. He knew that Francho really wasn't someone who really was from Baltimore himself in regards of living in Tacoma Park, and he never really talked about himself as this Democratic person per se. And now he was able to take that opening and run with it. And he's done a wonderful job. Every time you saw him, every time you read about him, his thing was just growing and moving and growing and moving, and the endorsements was coming in. So people were actually starting to believe in him and his platform, and this is the outcome.
Michael,
well, I think it was bigger than that. I think people believed in Maryland that we could have a black governor, because I think the issue in Maryland was, we didn't believe Maryland was ready for a black governor. We didn't think any state was ready for a black governor. And the danger is that West is now not just Maryland's, but West belongs to the country, and I think Oprah exposed him to that point, but as well as Robin Hood, where he worked up on Wall Street. West belongs to the country at this point because he's one of three and he's got the exposure, and we're looking for talent, And so West is a talent of African persuasion. And so he's going to be grasped and pulled, and, hopefully he stays focused and creates an agenda that's achievable so that he can go on a national platform. And I think it's something that we all can be proud on. I think that's the main thing with West, is that he's got to, get some things accomplished in Maryland, understanding that he's a national superstar. He doesn't just belong to Maryland, in my opinion, at this point.
Everybody on this call is in the media. Kenny, I got to ask you, with your black newspaper, what is the role of the black press and special thank you, Mr. Haney and Marcia, for your support of this network, for your vision, for your time, sweat, and blood. And thank you to Donnie for putting up with you two. But Kenny, honestly, sincerely,
I got something that'll reach over
you
there.
run a black newspaper, and the Baltimore Sun is saying, they said disparaging comments already, and this man hasn't even been sworn in.
But that's what they do. Why do you have some other expectation?
As the black press, I think our first job is to always have this guy's back, because we know other press will not. They'll be looking for things to tear them down. And when they do that, we have the mechanism to talk to the folks that we talk to make sure they know the real story, the real deal.
But doesn't he have a responsibility as well to make certain that he is talking to the black press and he's having those conversations so that we're all reading off of the same page and not assuming that we're supposed to know what he's doing or what he's thinking or what his vision is supposed to be and what are the priorities. He needs to be having that conversation as a roundtable so that we all walk away understanding the mission. And it's a mission because I've lived in Montgomery County from Bethesda to Silver Spring to DC. We've got to make certain that we come together, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, the East and the West sides, so that we're a united front. And it's time now. And, there's a lot at stake. We can do some changing about this community and communities that look like ours. We're talking about food deserts. We're talking about employment. We're talking about racism. We're talking about education. There shouldn't be a kid in this entire state that doesn't have access to a computer and to the internet. That we're doing what we need to do and take advantage of this opportunity to empower our communities across this state.
Danny, do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we all have to come together as one. We can't have little pockets of, you know, people here know what's going on, and you know, the right hand knows, but the left hand doesn't. We gotta be one. For once and for all, we gotta come together. We really have to come together. This is our opportunity to get it right, and
Danny,
our kids deserve it.
Do you see synergy, Danny, between you're on the State Central Committee, right?
I am.
Do you see synergy between
You didn't
Baltimore
sound happy.
County? He didn't. Is there synergy between Baltimore County State Central Committee and say Baltimore City and Prince George's County State Central Committee? Is there synergy? Do you all know each other?
No, it's not like that's what I'm saying. It's not like that. You know, when I came on the Central Committee, and of course, thanks to Kenny, he was my campaign manager who pushed me into it. But once I got in, it really was worse than I ever thought. It was really a tough thing bringing people together as one, because it was predominantly, and it still is predominantly, a white Central Committee. But we came in there in 2018, and we were to do some things. And, you know, one of the things that we did was change the bylaws to where in Baltimore County, you can't hold dual seats anymore. So we were able to get that done. And that was collectively because they knew after coming out of the general election where Ben Jealous didn't win, there was a whole lot of tension going on within the party itself, from the DNC to the Maryland Democratic Party, as well as to the Baltimore County as well. And it was just a lot of things going on that had to be corrected, and we had to get ourselves together because it was really chaotic.
So have you all had a retreat or something so that everybody's on one accord?
No, well, you know, it was kind of during the pandemic as well. So we had to, you know, figure that in, you know, as well. But, you know, moving forward, it's just so much that we need to do to come together collectively. And I think that we can. But at the same time, you know, those backroom deals are still happening. It's still, as I say, predominantly white. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you guys an example of this. Tonight, we're having our meeting tonight, Central Committee meeting in Baltimore County. And so someone put me in to run for the second vice chair. I'm already the bylaws chair for them, but someone put me in for it. I really didn't want it, but I said, we have to always have a seat at the table. So I went on ahead with it. But they threw in Kevin Cabinet's son, Carson Cabinets, to be the second vice chair. Non-experienced, none of this, that, the other, but it's politics. It is what it is.
Are you saying that his name trumps yours?
No, it doesn't trump it, but it's just the reality of it, the respect factor. You know, it is what it is.
Respect?
Well, there is no respect factor, is what I'm saying.
Minority business enterprise in Baltimore County under that administration, I remember it being minus, not even zero, but minus.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael Haney, I can't let you go without asking you about the national scene. I know you're very astute. Did you see Arizona?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I can preface for a second to your question originally about Black media, because I think it's crucial. Someone mentioned, I think Kenny mentioned having Wes's back, but you know, we have to continue to educate our communities and our people that there are alternatives to what they consider mainstream, so that they understand what they're getting. And then Wes's administration hopefully has a role in ensuring that there's credibility with outlets such as Kenny and BlackUSA.News and other Black media outlets, that we're at the front of the room so that our people understand that the truth, as Kenny mentioned, can come from our mediums as well. So it's important we educate our people and that we're credible mediums, and that Wes and his administration understanding that miscommunication is huge in the country, in the state, legitimizes Black media by uplifting them and putting them front and center and giving them maybe a press conference a month or a week on updates as to his no man left, no person left behind. But we've got to propose these things. But to what you asked on the national front, the Republicans are about to take the House by a small margin. Right now, they're up 215. They need 218. California, of all states, is going to deliver the number of representatives to the House that the Republicans need. California, liberal California, is going to deliver 4 Republicans in that state. Arizona, Carrie Lake, the racist Trump TV personality, has lost.
Yes, she
Katie
has.
Hobbs has won the governor's race, and governor's races are crucial. The governor of Pennsylvania, governor of Arizona, are 2 crucial races, just like you saw down in Florida. The governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, who's going to trump Trump and be the nominee, in my estimation, from the Republican Party. And we know that Trump's making his announcement tonight. But the better thing is that the Democrats hold on to the Senate.
You're cutting your head off, babe.
Yeah, the Democrats hold on to the Senate, and if Raphael Warnock wins on December 6th, they will be up by two votes, 51-49, which is great, meaning that they improved. And I think what happened in this country, just as it did in Maryland, is that people made a decision, conscientious decision, be it a moderate, conservative, liberal, white, black, pink, purple, Democrat, Republican, that they did not like the direction this country is going in. They did not like the mood. Why disturb the pot? Leave those black folks alone, man. Give them what they want as long as they work for it. But people were tired of that. And that's why Trump is announcing tonight he's going to run again, only for the reason that he's trying to stay out of jail. Seriously. Trump is in serious trouble.
Couldn't he be arrested anyway, even if he's president?
I'm sorry?
Couldn't he still be arrested anyway, even if he's
only
president?
In Georgia, only in the states that don't have the ability to pardon a federal official, right? Georgia and New York have charges. New York charges are more civil than criminal. The criminal charges against Trump is against his enterprise, not him as a person. Georgia has personal criminal charges pending on Trump, Giuliani, and potentially Lindsey Graham. And Trump realizes that he's in trouble because Trump knows who he is more than anybody else. Even before he ran for president, he knows who he is. And so he's announcing to continue to distract against all these legalities that are coming up against him. But even the white people are finally speaking up and pushing back, and the voice will get louder. My faith in man and womankind has been restored. God is good. Godliness in people has finally shown the light, man. I don't know what it was that turned it on, but thank God it's turned on.
I don't know. It's like a shell game for him. He just keeps at it. He's not going to stop. He is focused. He is committed, and he's going to die trying. He don't care.
Well,
he wants to be president again.
He's lived his life a lie. He is not a person with any moral fiber whatsoever.
Or compass,
you see that.
Right.
And then you see the people that follow him are desperate and miserable people too. And many of them won't go away. And we can't be discouraged that there aren't people like that. We have them in our own family. So why wouldn't we expect that we see people support him the way we do? But right will overwhelm. We believe that as a people, particularly if we have faith, that ultimately right will overwhelm wrong. And we're starting to see this in this country. And that's why Westmore won in Maryland.
I think that that's so exciting that you are so positive. I'm going to take a little bit of your positive juice.
Man, I am pumped up, Marcia, because, man, if you look around the country and all the races, and particularly with the Democrats the Democrats will be, so it would only take, if they hold up, and I'm looking at some news now, the way it comes out, the Republicans may have 220 seats. I think the Democrats 213, because I think there's 433 or 34 seats totally in the House, right? Whereas they expected to have a majority by 40. So all of a sudden, the Democrats are just talking to 7 or 8 Republicans, getting them, just like they did Simenon out of Arizona and Manchin out of West Virginia to go over with them. So now the Democrats, instead of having to caucus a 30 or 40 people to get some legislation passed, the numbers that they have to caucus with make commitments to, so that Biden has his agenda at least not fractured so greatly, is few, very few, less than 10. And that's a good number for the Democrats to work with, to caucus with, so that Biden can get some things done.
But some of those Republicans are really hardcore, and they are ready to die for what they want. And we have to be real committed ourselves as Democrats and independents to make certain that we are in the position to do what we need to do. And I don't think that we're united enough as a people to be able to do that.
But Marsha, you're right. And, back in the Civil War, they were ready to die too, and they were Democrats. And the Republicans, as Abraham Lincoln were trying to free the slaves. So it's a matter of man and what makes up a man and his conviction. And party affiliation aside, because it seems to flip-flop, as we've seen. The Republican Party used to be the party of Black people. Now the Democratic Party it's the makeup of people, man, and what's in people's hearts, I believe. But, I think that we always can expect that there are going to be passionate people out here ready to die. But, what are we willing to put in the line? What is the people we willing to take in terms of hits? Because, Martin Luther King laid his life on the line. Malcolm X laid his life on the line. We can go on and on. Rosa Parks was willing. She was not moving.
Yep.
We can go on and on with people that laid their life on the line. But in the 21st century,
we also need people who have the capacity, who have the strength to hold a position. And that people, when you sit down and you talk about West, right? You've got West, you've got a Hispanic commitment, you've got white commitment, you got Black commitment, Asian commitment. How do we do that from a national standpoint where the numbers are significant to talk about what's going to go on Pennsylvania Avenue?
I think it's the media to me. I think it's a matter of our communities, of our people collaborating, understanding what's going on, and not necessarily, because when you look at what has happened to people, if you go back to a Catherine Pugh, if you go back to a Sheila Dixon in our state, you go back to Gaines and Johnson, the media destroyed these people. Not that they didn't deserve to be destroyed based on what they did, but who begins to level that and talk about the positive aspects of a Westmore administration in addition to what the challenges are. And that's why Black media is crucial, so that we can tell the story of our people that are in office fairly, because we know we can't depend on that. As you said yesterday, the Sun paper, racist may be a strong term, but they don't understand Black people enough to tell our story.
Okay, so Kenny, I want to get to this. How many newspapers do you put on the street?
We're printing 15,000.
Wow.
How many newspapers does the Baltimore Times put on the street?
I don't know that number. But
what about the Afro?
Well, Afro, I know the Afro. Is the Afro now under 5,000?
So you put out more newspapers between Catonsville and Owens Mills than
Woodlawn, Catonsville, Randallstown, Woodlawn, Pikeville, Owens Mills.
Kenny, would you be interested in expanding your paper to Baltimore City?
Woo! Did you say that? Say that one more time. What did you just say?
Here he is. With the proper manpower and funding, once you do it, of course I would. But you can't, saying it and doing it is a much tougher job to do. Because remember, I didn't go across all of Baltimore County. I only went to the northwest side of the county.
But
now, when you said Baltimore City,
papers, did y'all hear that?
Baltimore City is east side and west side. Because which side would you cut out?
Oh, okay. So I got a question. Danny shied away. No, Derek Burnett shied away from. Who you
What?
got? Izzy Patoka or Julian Jones? Or is it too
Not,
soon to ask?
not for me.
Julian Jones for
Julian
me.
Jones. Were we
DP,
clear?
you want to hear it again?
Were we clear?
We heard it echoed. Actually, it just echoed.
Wait.
We got it
You
in
know,
stereo.
wait a minute. I just had a conversation. There was a reason why black districts were put together. It was to help support and elect black people or people of color. Okay, but I'm going to say black people. That's why those districts were put together. White folks put districts together to get certain people elected.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4th Councilmatic District, that is a black district.
Completely.
So why would we, and we have a black county council person. Why would we turn our back on
and
him?
Gentlemen of the jury, I rest my case.
Can I ask a question of you based on what you just said? You said that the 4th Councilmatic District in the county is a district of black people, right?
Right.
And the county itself is approaching almost 50% of the population.
Yes.
But yet they only have one county council person that is black.
And that's
so
being
it
dealt
can't
with
just
now.
be the 4th district.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm getting at is that you look at Izzy Patoka, who is up here in the Pikesville area, you know, Randallstown, whatever area, I don't know, ran against, who was it?
Tony
Jane Fugit,
right. Tony
who
Fugit.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Tony.
Right.
And
Tony.
so, you know,
That wasn't a race.
our people.
That wasn't a race.
That was a assault and battery.
Yeah, well, we saw that, but you
was an
look at
audition.
the people that look like us that supported Patuka, right? Black people supported him in numbers.
Tony did better than I thought he would, and he did that because of black folks.
And he started late.
But this was a setup for 4 years from now, correct?
Well, I asked Tony a stupid question, and there shouldn't be no such thing as a stupid question because I didn't know what I thought his answer would be. But I did ask, are you running to set yourself up for the next run? And he said, no, I'm in it to win it. And that's what you expect any candidate to say to you. But the reality on the streets were this guy was going up against a guy who probably had 100 times more money than he had.
Mm-hmm.
He was already the incumbent, and Tony was in a 6 to 8 week race.
Well, it better mean something because the ghost of Reginald F. Lewis gonna come and kick him in his butt. You can't go out there and misrepresent Reginald F. Lewis. That's right, I said it. Man got a museum named after him downtown. You better go in there and get ready to win, like you St. Francis Academy or somebody.
Well, I tell you what, if the race is going to be between Julian and Izzy, and who else, I don't know who else may be coming,
right?
But the next 4 years, it's an open seat. So there's that possibility of District 2 getting that second person of color.
Okay, so then also Brooks and Johnny Ocheski, both of them have aspirations beyond the here and now. Right now, Anthony Brown statewide, Brooke Learman statewide. Who's going to get the Senate seat? Angela also Brooks, because she was an early supporter of Westmore. Did Johnny Ocheski blow that one?
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Whoa! Johnny, what happened, baby? He should have watched Be More News. He told him. Damn.
Yeah, he tried to fix that. That was unfixable. You know.
But don't we have a responsibility to get together with the leadership throughout each one of our counties and the city to be able to really talk about who we want in office and making certain that we're real clear? I know COVID has happened, so we haven't had a lot of opportunities for people to be in a room to sit down and hear or go through the debates that we did back in the day. But at some point, we really need to be in an environment where we have a lot of voters who have the ability to ask questions and to see where these politicians are and the impact that they are trying to have with the priorities in each one of our different communities, because everybody looks and needs something different. And
This,
so, go ahead.
no, this was the first cycle in Baltimore County that didn't have debates. I mean, it was very, I mean, I'm talking about debates with the Senate debate, the delegate debates, and things like that. Those two main debates never occurred. And that has
Right.
never happened before. And that was something that was talked about, and it's still being talked about within our district, because
Well,
that is very pivotal. It's very pivotal to be able to talk to the candidates and learn what their agendas are, who they are face to face.
and it's huge. It's
Mhm.
absolutely huge. And, I think that, I see people that are out, because I know I was sequestered throughout COVID. I'm here to say it. But now that time is dwindling. People are making changes, and you see that they're going out in large crowds. They're going to
Mhm.
see a Michael Collier perform. They're doing things. So it seems to me that we need to start talking about who are those people that we need to galvanize out of each one of these different zip codes, to make certain that we're doing that, and we hear what people have to say, and that we are informed voters, that we know what we're getting, opposed to some lip service that we see in a paragraph that is well written by some journalist or some English professor. We really need to take time to look at these people. And,
Marsha, I
and we
absolutely,
complain, but we don't do anything about it.
but Marsha, I absolutely agree with you. And I think as Kenny and Donnie get together and schedule strategically in a year or two a forum or forums in both jurisdictions to have candidate forums, Donnie and Kenny, media moguls that are working collaboratively, one print, one online, and they say, hey, we're going to have a joint platform because it's credible, it's real. And to your point, Marsha, so you are able to, people can go online now, because COVID taught us that we can go online and get information. So you don't always have to invite people out. So people have another ability to hear from the candidates. But I think as our media begins to collaborate, so we're not always dealing with the Women's League of Voters, the League of Women Voters, and some of the other usual platform hosts for these debates, that Kenny and Donnie getting together now, thinking out, strategizing how they're going to take and message the people and bring the candidates to realize that, hey, you got to come through us in order to get to the people.
There's a platform called Hop In, and it takes thousands of people on the screen, hopin.com, and it's huge. So where, StreamYard can only take, 10 or 15 people, you can get hundreds of people on a Hop In. And I understand that they're doing something else as well, but a lot of the larger organizations for conferences and that type of thing are using that type of platform. And so even if you don't want to come and be out and about, it gives us the opportunity to hear. I like to see people's faces and facial expressions and body language and stuff when they're talking and they're trying to tell me what they think, opposed to me just listening on the radio. That sight, I need to see them. I need to see what they say or how they say it and what the body does and the facial expressions when a hard question comes up. You can tell a lot by those body movements. And
I want to just jump in here. We want to acknowledge the University of Virginia football players, Carl Davis Jr., Devin Chandler, Deshaun Terry.
Yes.
Any thoughts before we close out?
It's a damn shame.
Kenny?
Yeah, I think that, and then we had another tragic event at a Midwest university, I think out in Wichita, somewhere out there in the Midwest, where 4 young people were killed as well. You're right, man. Mental illness has to be, and I think that someone mentioned it on your show last week, Donnie, that one of the initial platforms that Westmore would do well within our communities is to figure out how to address mental health. And just a quick 10-second plug, tomorrow night, everyone knows the world of cryptocurrency has been turned upside down. We're doing a special on BlackUSA.News tomorrow night at 9 p.m. with Kamal Hubbard from the West Coast, talking about the bankruptcy of FTX and Bitcoin and what that means to Black communities.
Okay, Kenny Brown, I need you to put a plug in. You're a little passive.
Well, I'm sitting here listening, but we're down to the last minute, aren't we?
Take your time. Plug your newspaper, please.
Northwest Voice News, Northwest Baltimore County, Catonsville, Woodlawn, Randallstown, Pikesville, Owings Mills, Reisterstown.
How can people get in touch with you?
NWVoiceNews.com, and you can call me at 410-979-5182. Thank you.
One
And
more
soon to
time.
be in Baltimore City, right?
410.
Well, Donnie's bringing up Baltimore City. Donnie and I had a conversation one time. Donnie said Prince George's County, and I'm like, gee, man.
Let's start with Baltimore City. 410-979-5182. Okay, Danny, any final thought?
Yes, well, I just wanted to give a plug for the radio show that I'm doing. It's on WFBR 1590 AM. It's on Thursdays from 12 to 1. It's called Two-Way Talk. Bishop Barry Chapman is the host. I'm a co-host, and we just want to build a platform. Actually, we're trying to work and do something on WOLB. So we're in kind of conversations with them. So we're going to see where this takes us, and we would love for you guys to chime in and come in and talk about some things that we're talking about on here on that network as well.
Good deal. Marcia, Mike, Kenny in particular, I want to thank you for your support of this network and Be More News and the efforts we've been doing. Your help is unparalleled. Marcia Juice, you did get on my nerves, just like you, Michael Haney. Kenny, you never get on my nerves.
No.
You get on my nerves all the time. All the time.
He can't handle Pisces, Marcia. He can't handle Pisces.
It's a thing. No. It's just a thing. And he knows it. His family's Pisces. So, but my show comes on at 6:00 on LinkedIn, Marcia Reeves Jews, and Facebook.
Tonight, right, Marcia? You got a show tonight.
Yep. 6:00.
And Donnie, before I leave, let's all say what a great job Donnie does here with this.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that. You already pat yourself on the back, but
can we get the names black opposed to blue? I like the black and green and red.
Hey, Mike Haney, we love your green screen.
Thank you.
That looks like me last week.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that, Marcia. It's all good. This has been great, you guys.
Thank you, everyone, for taking time out. I appreciate you.
Take care. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for having
all the best to all of you. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Good evening.
Bye-bye.
Good evening.